Thank you for joining me on another episode of She Leads Now podcast, where we help career and entrepreneurial women gain the tools to develop a success mindset, create winning strategies, build collaborative relationships, and take bold action towards creating impact and fulfillment in their lives and careers. I'm your host, Sabine Gideon, and I'm on a mission to awaken and activate women and emerging leaders so they can tap into their innate leadership ability, elevate their influence, and create the impact they were destined to make. If you're ready to uplevel your confidence, courage, and influence, you've come to the right place. Join me weekly for insights, strategies, and resources to help you grow, develop, and embody the leader you are meant to be, so that you can make the impact you know you are called to make and establish the legacy you've always dreamed. The world eagerly awaits the emergence of your brilliance, impact, and influence. So with that, let's dive into this week's episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of She Leads Now. I am your host, Sabine Gideon, and I am bringing you a quick solo episode because today is a very, very important day. Today is our official 2-year anniversary since launching She Leads Now. So technically, I believe November 26th was when I released the trailer, but that was just so I could get it on all of the platforms. But today is the official day that the launch took place. The first 5 episodes got released, and this was back in 2022. Yes. So I'm here real quick to celebrate, to say thank you, first and foremost, for those of you who are weekly listeners or whenever it is that you listen. I could not have made it through 2 years of doing this without your continued support, without your encouragement, without your listenership, your ideas, your comments, your feedback. If you know anyone who podcasts, they will tell you this is not as easy as it looks. But many of us do it because the mission that is tied behind our shows is so close to us. And so therefore it is a labor of love, we'll put it that way. But nonetheless, I am super, super excited to celebrate. Of course, I will be sharing this all throughout social media over the next couple of days or so, but I definitely wanted to come on for those of you who have this on automatic subscribe or you download it, whatever during the time of your week. I just wanted to come in your ear this week, in addition to our regular episode, to just simply say thank you with sincere gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on the other side of this mic and for occasionally letting me know that the information that is shared on here is helpful to you. So I won't be long, but I definitely wanted to just take a few minutes to highlight the impact that we have made in the last 2 years. And I definitely say we because it is a team effort. If you are not listening, if you are not downloading, if you are not sharing, then we would not have made it in the last 2 years. So I am really big on, at least now, I'm really big on celebrating wins, as small and as irrelevant as they may seem. And this is not one of them. This is definitely a big win. So thank you for celebrating with me. So in addition to making it 2 years, woohoo, we have hit a milestone. We hit it, I believe, last month or in November, over 5,000 downloads, which is huge to me. Thank you so much. We also are ranked in the top 5 on Listen Notes. And so that is one of the platforms that tracks podcasts. And so I believe there are over 3 million podcasts that are out there. And, of those 3 million, some of them only have 5 episodes, some of them have 20 episodes, you name it. So, there's this thing called pod fade. But of the 3 million, for those that are active and actively releasing podcasts on a regular basis, we are ranked in the top 5%. So kudos to all of you who have showed up, who have downloaded, who have shared, for helping us reach those 2 milestones. And so in preparation for this episode, I did a little digging because I wanted to see where you all were. Because again, I occasionally get messages when someone listens, but I don't know the gamut of everyone who has downloaded over the course of the last 2 years. But it looks like 60% of you, roughly 60% of you, are listening on Apple Podcasts. So kudos to you on your iPhones. I am Team Android, if you didn't know, but I have respect for the Apple users. So thank you. As we look at demographics, 86% of our listeners or people who have downloaded episodes are here in North America. About 4% are in Europe. So kudos to you out there who are on the other side of the pond. 3% in Asia, 2% in Africa. That blows my mind. And then 1% in South America. So we are distributed throughout the world. And I don't know, before pulling these stats, that I realized how that this is a global podcast. Like, I mean, that is that is huge. That is amazing. And again, I give the kudos to you all who have tuned in, who have shared, who have reviewed, who have commented, done all of the things to help us expand this reach. And so I also looked at where we stand in terms of ratings and reviews. And of course, some people might think that those are vanity metrics, but I think everything is important. So we have 23 five-star ratings. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for those of you who have listened to the outro and have gone on Apple Podcasts. And actually, this is just based on Apple Podcasts. I know Spotify allows you to leave comments, so I'm not excluding anyone who might have done it on Spotify. I just don't have those stats. But for those of you who have taken the time to review the show, we have 23 five-star reviews. And of course, for those of you who have stopped and left a comment about the show, about the content, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough. And you're probably going to get tired of hearing me say that. But I am so, so, so appreciative of your listenership and of your support. You have no idea how much it means to me that, week after week, I am part of your regular schedule. And even if you don't listen every week, but, I'm in the rotation somewhere, somehow. We've had a lot of amazing women come on this platform, share their expertise, share their wisdom, share their knowledge, their lessons learned, the things that they would go back and tell their younger selves. I've learned so much in these last 2 years just based off of the book recommendations alone, not to mention the opportunity to glean from the amazing powerhouses that we have had on the show. And so this episode is officially episode 99 on our 2-year anniversary. So that means that next Wednesday's episode is going to be the 100th episode, which I cannot thank you enough. And I'm almost blown away by that number as well. So on next week's episodes, just as a heads up, I will be revealing the official new name of the show. And so if you didn't catch the last few episodes, I did announce that going into 2024, as part of my word for the year, which is alignment, and, everything that I've been planning, everything that I went through in terms of growth and transformation in the last year, it brought me to a place where I had to take a look at the podcast and really ask myself, is the podcast aligned with the person whom I've become, as well as those whom I wish to continue to serve? And so in reality, it's not the content will change slightly. So it's not like I'm going to completely just start talking about, true crime or anything like that. That's not happening. But what the focus is going to be, will be a lot more holistic in terms of, mindset, in terms of the 5 dimensions, or actually the 7 dimensions of who we are. So that is our mental, our physical, our emotional, our spiritual, our financial, our relational or social, our territorial, and I may be missing one. But nonetheless, you'll hear plenty about it. But I definitely want to align this show, align the content, align the information, the training that I bring on the show with everything else that I'm doing, with my coaching clients, my private one-on-one coaching clients, the members of She Leads Network. Side note, open enrollment. Feel free to hop on board. You can learn more at sheleadsnetwork.com. And for those of you who are listening to this particular episode, I will leave a coupon code in the show notes. So you can actually save $500 off first year membership by checking the show notes and using the coupon code that is there. So that is the aside for now. But, next week I will share what the new name of the podcast is going to be, how it's going to align, how I envision being able to serve you in a broader capacity, in quite honestly, a deeper capacity than I have in the past. We're still going to talk all things career, all things, moving up the ladder, growing our business. We're still ambitious, impact-driven women, but we are also ambitious, impact-driven women who are whole women. And I feel like I don't believe that we can compartmentalize ourselves. And I am choosing to no longer compartmentalize on this particular show. So tune in for the 100th episode, which will be released on January 31st. And then the last thing I will say is for those of you who did not get a chance to register for this month's Cultivating Connections Masterclass, boy, did you miss out on a meaty, impactful presentation. But not to worry, because I got you. I am actually running an encore of the presentation next month. The dates and that information will be out shortly. I am targeting February 15th. So that is the third Thursday of the month. So be on the lookout, check the show notes. You'll definitely hear promotions about it on the podcast, but wanted to give you that heads up that if you missed it, all is not lost. Your girl has got you. And I will be back in a few weeks with an encore of that particular session. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in on a Friday or whatever day it is that you're listening. And again, I can't say this enough. I can't express my gratitude enough through this mic, but thank you, and thank you again for your support, for your listenership, for sharing, for writing, for all of the things that you do. Even if you've never contacted me and you've listened to one episode, my heart goes out to you with gratitude and with grace. So with that, we will be back next week with the 100th episode, the reveal of the new name and what is next as we embark on the next chapter of our journey on the show. With that, have a wonderful rest of the week and we will talk soon. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of She Leads Now. If you found today's episode helpful or got a piece of insight that you plan to implement in your business or organization, I would love to hear from you. Connect with me on LinkedIn at Sabine Gideon, that's my handle, and send me a private message. Or feel free to go ahead and leave a review on either Apple or Spotify. I also invite you to share this episode with anyone in your network who you think might benefit from this content. Lastly, be sure to check the show notes and the description below for links to resources, including relevant downloads, articles, and any upcoming training. Until we chat again, have a blessed and powerful week.